Play some Blitz here today on AB Chess Lab. 5-minute chess. Chess.com. And we're playing against the Zaiwan. Okay, E4. D6, a perk defense. Alright, no problem. D4. I don't think he knows what to do with the perk. Oof. H5. What is that move? H5. Are you really trying to go here? Or is this your plan? Okay, regardless of which one it is, I am not scared. Bring it on, side one. Ah, bishop g4. And what are you going to do now after this move f3? Uh-huh. So my plan is simple. I'm just going to go bishop here, queen there, and castle. Obviously, his bishop g4 was a waste of time. Now he has to go back. I was going to play f3 anyway. So now we have a very strong, solid center. So let's just develop c5. Aren't we just winning that pawn? So what happens if we take? There's only one piece protecting it, and we have two pieces attacking it. Seems like a free piece, baby. Let's take it. Of course, you get some counterplay with queen to a5 and stuff, but okay. And now b5. What is my opponent trying to do? Just give me a bunch of free pawns and resign after, I guess. That's the only logical explanation to what he's doing. Okay, I'm a big believer in grabbing the free material. And here, I'm simply going to, I want to take, I think he has queen a5, so I guess I'm forced to take his queen first and then take the bishop. But okay, we're up to pawns. His king is not sitting very pretty on d8. And let's just give him this check. What are you going to do? Oh, king here will be lovely. We would have a very nice checkmate on c7, but okay. He's not giving us the opportunity for such beauty. Let's try to trade some pieces. Since that's my favorite thing to do when I go off material. I'm expecting either knight there. Okay. I don't even know why I'm expecting anything considering that he has this position on the board. Let's continue to develop since nothing else is better. You gotta do something about this or the game is going to end rather quickly. Okay, bishop b4, we simply take his pawn. So I'm not concerned. We do have 2 minutes and 56 seconds, so that's the one thing that he could possibly play for, but not too worried either. And like I said, I'm just going to take that, attack his rook. His rook has to move. I'm simply going to go back. Next, I'm going to play a3, kick this bishop out. I don't care if he takes here. It's good for me. And he just does it willingly. So not sure what this guy is doing anymore. Okay, the rook here, it may seem like it doesn't make a lot of sense, but I am in some way controlling this 6 square from the knight ever jumping there. But the most important thing about this move is that now I'm simply preparing to also bring this rook to d1. Which I'm going to just do. a3 now probably loses a piece after rook check, king here, rook takes. And after king takes, we bring the other rook with a check. And after the king comes here, a check on d7 wins the knight. And I think he missed that. He's also dropping his rook here, so let's take it. So it looks like we're going to open up this session with a smooth victory. And I'm not even going to analyze this, considering that he played h5 on move 2. So we probably shouldn't analyze anything with h5 on move 2. Okay, so we'll wait for my opponent to either resign here, which he does, giving us the smooth victory. Okay, no mistakes, no blunders, no miss wins. I'm happy with that. Let's just go to the next game. Let's see, we're playing Baseballer, 778 from the USA. And he goes for e4. Let's just go for a Sicilian in our case. See if my opponent is prepared. And so far, he's going great. Develop his bishop to c4, putting pressure on my pawn on f7. Why not? So we're simply going to put our pawn forward. Now we're also opening up the square for this bishop to move in a later situation. Okay, so let's see if we can take advantage of his bishop being a little vulnerable on c4. I think he should have gone for d3. Now, after we play b5, he can no longer go to this square because we simply play this move and see you later, baby. Our bishop, that bishop is mine. So, obviously, this game is going to lead to a quick victory for us. From now, we're just going to develop our pieces, try to go for some trades. Oh, nice knight here. I was going to play knight here, but that would have been a serious mistake after pawn forward. So I cannot go for that. So instead, I'm just going to develop my queen to this square, which I was going to put in a later situation anyway. And next, I'm going to follow this up with h6 and some knight to f6. But since he's giving us this pawn for free, I think I'm going to go for it. And I'm a bit hungry, to tell you the truth. So snacking on free material is going to make me happy. Okay, and now there's even more free material. This pawn is hanging because the knight is not really protecting it because of the pin. So we can take this one. We can also go for check, takes, and queen takes, winning a pawn this way, but he has bishop back. So instead, I'm going to preserve my bishops and take here. He should castle now, of course, and I'm simply going to bring my bishop back to b7. So it's looking great. All right, my opponent just decided to quit here, which is reasonable. And again, no mistakes, no blunders, no missed wins. So let's move on to a new game. I will analyze one when it's appropriate to do so. So far, my opponents have not played the best opening moves, so I don't want to waste any time doing excessive analysis on bad moves. So again, here we have another Sicilian, and my opponent chooses a different setup with a classical knight to f3, trying to go for an open Sicilian with d4. Okay, but she chooses the bishop to c4 line, but in a different order than in the previous game. But still, we always respond to bishop c4 with a move to e6. And come on, like really, knight g5? Don't you see that it's not protected? Okay, let's take it. Let's take it because why not? All right, so now notice that this bishop at some point is going to attack my queen. So for that reason, I'm going to put it here. Just if he ever brings this pawn forward, my queen's not in there. Just in case I forget that little tactic. Probably not, but I don't want to risk it. Okay, so g2 is a little bit weak. If my queen were to give a check here, we can take this bishop. But I don't want to keep wasting time moving my queen back and forth. So instead, I'm just going to do some developing moves. we're already up a piece. Life is good. Obviously, this move is just a waste. I'm just gonna develop another piece. He's not really going to take here. We take back with a pawn. I don't think he knows the concept of uh, when you're down material to not trade. Okay, so he could have some potential target with f4 and f5 opening on my king. So for that reason, I'm just simply going to play pawn here. Now, in the future, I have some ideas of coming to bishop h3, attacking checkmate on g2 with my queen. At the moment, this move doesn't really work because he simply can go queen d2 and protect, rook f2 protects, even queen e2 also protects. So I'm not going to try just yet. So instead, what I'm going to do is simply keep developing my pieces. And as the game continues, maybe I'll go for ideas like that. I could also go for h4, h5, h4, h3 with the same idea, opening up the rook for the rook to also attack. But then if I do that, I'm scared that I won't be able to castle to the queen side or king side. So okay, instead I'm gonna go here. The one thing I don't like is my queen on g6, although it has some targets, it's a little misplaced, I believe. So I do have to somehow change that, although I haven't quite figured out how to. I think rooks belong in open files. So here at least we develop it to b8 and we attack, so it's good for us. All right, so my opponent very sensibly plays rook to b1 and protects his pawn on b2. So how should we continue? And I gotta say, I gotta continue a bit faster because we're down to 2:25 on the clock, and I'm not the kind to, get into time trouble. So okay, the idea here is simple. I'm gonna go bishop g5, try to trade some pieces, and make my life a bit easier. Okay, so bishop g5 still works because of the pin later on. So if he decides to go for this move, we can actually just take, believe it or not. Here we can take, see if he wants to go for the queen trade, which would, again, will be to our advantage. And we're simply gonna, if we decide to take there, follow this up with maybe f5 or knight to f6. Of course, he didn't trade, and I was expecting him not to. But we can throw in now this move, taking advantage of the pin. Now the knight also attacks here in some situations. You could give a check here, not there, here in some positions, like for example right now, this check is actually going to win the queen for us, since the king cannot come to f2 and protect it. So after king to g2, we're simply going to take the queen. He cannot take because it's protected by our bishop. So this game is already a winning position for us, and we're going to keep taking pieces from him. So knight f2 check. We're going to follow this up with knight here. We also had, and I missed it, a bishop h3. So it was a big miss by me. I think it would have led to checkmate. But okay, this I believe also is going to win the game quite smoothly for us. We're simply, you know what? Let's go for it. Let's go for checkmate. I don't think he can prevent it. Rook f2 we simply take. So taking the material here with queen takes knight is just being greedy. It's better to play good moves, even if the position is completely winning like this one. So Mr. Clocking, it was a pleasure, sir. And I should move on to the next game after my opponent decides to resign. And if he does, then it will be checkmate 2 moves or 1 move, like in this scenario. Okay. So not bad. Again, it's just and I had one big mistake. Obviously, I should have played bishop h3 when I mentioned it. So not happy about that. And of course, my opponent gave us a free piece right on move 3 of the game. So a very comfortable win. So we have Johnny. Let's see. We haven't played with the white pieces in a couple of games. Let's go for something unorthodox. Let's see if we can get a Danish gambit in. So if he takes, we're just gonna go c3, and he doesn't allow that. But it doesn't matter. We're simply gonna go on developer pieces, put pressure here on his center pawn. And now let's see if we can get some kind of position in which I sacrifice some material. And I see that my opponent has been watching some videos in which they say not to take, but to simply push. But I think he's missing the point that now I get this Maroxy-bind structure, and I'm gonna have a really good game. Okay, so this, he simply wants to come here, but that's just gonna lead to the trade of some pieces. So instead, if he goes there now, we're gonna take. And I do like my well, now we have the bishop there, so I don't really know what Mr. Johnny is up to. My king is safe. How about your king? How about your king, Johnny? Is your king safe? All right. The one thing I did get out of this opening, I want to play this move, but then 95, and if I go bishop back, it takes my pawn. So I do have to do something about that. So let's go here, protect this pawn, and next I want to go there. And of course he doesn't let me, but at the same time I don't want to give him the bishop pair, which is, as I was mentioning, the only advantage we achieved out of the opening. Otherwise, my opponent is doing quite well. But now this move doesn't make a lot of sense. So let's take a look at the reason why. By moving this pawn forward, now he leaves this pawn on d6 quite weak. So I should be able, if all the pieces are traded, I should be able to put a lot of pressure on this pawn. So now that's what I'm going to look to do. I'm going to look to put all my forces to attack that pawn somehow. So we're going to start with this one. It is the last minor piece that was not developed. So let's put it in a square that's actually doing something. Next, I want to go queen here. Follow that up with rook to this square. So we should be doing well. Okay, let's set a little trick. He might think that my knight is pinned and go for some knight takes e4. But after knight takes, the knight actually protects my pawn. So if he goes for that, he actually loses a very valuable piece. So all right, so far so good. I like this move actually. It's quite interesting. But we're gonna take advantage of this move now. If my opponent here decides to take my queen, we have an intermediate check. And then, well, that just loses a queen. Not a queen, but a piece. And now if he has to go back to protect this bishop, well, let's just take a look. So queen goes back to protect the bishop. We simply take, queen takes, and we can take the pawn on d6. And we will be up a pawn. But instead, my opponent makes a big blunder here, and we can simply win the queen, Mr. Johnny. Not what you wanted, I'm sure. Okay, he should continue here with knight takes, obviously, and at least try to get a piece out of it. Well, he goes for something else. And now I'm just going to simply take here and then take the knight. So, okay, he's completely collapsing now. All right. Nothing much to say about this game, except that it was a free queen. It was a free queen. All right, we have. Okay, let's play something else. Let's go for b6. We're playing against Alice Nurburn from Germany. I can't pronounce German names, but okay, very standard. e4, put a pawn in the center, develop your knights. Very good stuff so far. Very good stuff so far. All we've done with this move here to b6 and bishop b7, encountering our bishop, is just putting some pressure on e4. Nothing else. Nothing else. Again, now my opening idea is to continue to do that, put pressure on that square. So if he castles now, free pawn, and we should have a pretty decent game. I'm not saying he's winning. I mean, he's winning, but I'm human. I make mistakes. So he should go either d3 and or e5 is a very interesting move as well. But I have something planned for both of them. Obviously, if d3, we're simply going to play the move to pawn to d6. Okay, this knight move, it does protect the pawn, but notice that we can simply kick this knight out. h6, knight goes back, and this just seems to me like a free piece. Maybe my opponent was banking on the idea that maybe he wanted to go for this queen to f3, pinning my knight. But I could simply go knight back, and that protects my bishop. So he just went and took instead. Okay, now we're simply up a pawn. Our bishop's attacking on g2, which my opponent obviously missed. He can go rook g1, and bishop takes here doesn't quite work because of queen f3 attacking both my bishop and the rook. So I can't really take the knight, but we want a pawn in. And now, well, now we're simply just going to play this move. Okay, he's not allowing me to play that move, which is good. It's a good move, buddy. It's a good move. So instead, now I have to come up with something else. I'm going to play this. He's going to give me a check, which is going to allow me to develop a piece. Now, queen to f. This guy's playing very fast and very badly. He should have played queen to f3 at least with some targets. It's a little too late now to play queen to f3. He's going to actually this move would have been a big blunder because of knight check. So okay, he's going to get his desired knight to f6. But okay, not to worry. We're simply going to play queen here. At f6, we're going to go king d8, then play bishop g7, and we'll kick the knight out. Not what I wanted, but it's what happened. And sometimes that's what you do. Okay. He should probably maybe play like bishop here and get out of town. But okay, he chooses another setup. I'm gonna play f5, go for some g4, attack the knight. Maybe even queen here, king there. Makes a lot more sense. So probably that. Probably king c8, king b7 is going to be my choice of moves. Okay, very logical. He's just putting a lot of pressure. e5 doesn't work because queen takes with check. So what else can we do? Okay, let's go here. If knight here, we simply go rook to g6. Not scared yet. We have everything under control. And obviously, bishop there is coming. Rook takes is coming. So he should probably go back to h5. And notice all, the knight has come to f6 quite, a couple times already. And has had to bounce. We don't like it there. Okay, so this now should be completely winning. Now I have no worries. No worries whatsoever. But we do have to find a way to continue. e5, simply queen takes here, so that's not working at the moment. But I do have to get this bishop out. So the idea is I'm going to go here, put my bishop here, and then this rook back also threatens the knight. So let's see what he comes up with. Soon this game is going to start speeding up a little. We're both down to under 2:30 on the clock. And a lot of mistakes happen when people's time are beginning to run out. So he's getting to that 2 minute mark. And you know what bullet does to the brain? Mistake, 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 mistake. He's still thinking. I mean, his position's bad, so I'm not surprised he's thinking. But this guy has played the best so far out of everybody. He's only giving up a couple pawns. So not too bad, I guess. Okay, understandable move. I'm just simply gonna go there. Put some pressure. Rook here, pawn up. It's an idea. Rook back is an idea. Rook back doesn't quite work yet because of knight here. But now it could potentially work. It could potentially work. I want to get in this nasty e5. See how he decides to go for this. Of course, he completely missed that his queen was being threatened. And now this is hanging. This is hanging. He has no queen. This is game over. And yeah, okay. All right, let's do one last game. I had 3 mistakes. Whoa, hold on. I think we should take a look at that. 3 mistakes is a lot. 3 mistakes is quite a big deal in my book, regardless of who we're playing. So let's see. I want to, like, what's the report say? Oh, my accuracy was not bad. I just had, oh, the mistakes weren't mine. Mistakes were my opponent's mistakes. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. I did have a couple of inaccuracies. Let's just take a quick look. This game was better played than the other, so I think it deserves some attention. So far, obviously, this was a big blunder. It loses a pawn. So after h6, we simply got a free pawn. And this was a blunder because it gives us another free pawn. So my opponent's only big mistakes were this losing these 2 pawns right out of the open. Alright, the computer says I should take on h3. But I thought that was not possible because of this move. Ah, okay, but I see after queen here. After queen here, we can throw in this move. So, and then if he takes, we take. Our rook is not hanging. Ah, okay, very nice, computer, very nice. You are smarter than me. Okay, so knight there. That was not a good move. And I mean, now after we play the game, the reason I don't like it is because of all the dark square weaknesses that we left in the game. So we actually had a sequence of not so great moves. Okay, yeah, my opponent started doing this crazy stuff with knight f6, h5. I don't think I played a good move in a while. Okay, so back to h5 again. So obviously that maneuver was not good. Okay, I started playing better here. And last blunder. Okay. It was almost good. So let's get a last game in. Let's see. And man, we're almost at 800. What a thing. Okay, so we have Mr. Surajit from India. I think we're gonna try King's Gambit this game. And the King's Gambit is this idea. You give this F pawn away. It's a bit risky. but you do get a quick attack. So the knight goes to f3, the bishop to c4, you castle, and at some point this pawn is going to drop on f4, and we should be able to put a lot of pressure on f7 with our rook as well. So okay, let's just continue with our development. Now he's attacking our pawn, so we have to do something about it. So we're going to play d3. We were going to play this move probably anyway, because now we also attack this pawn with our bishop. So he doesn't have time to protect it. If he plays g5, we simply take, so that's not going to be a thing. Okay, so very smart move. He decides to strike in the center. So we're going to take, and after he takes with the knight, his pawn's going to be protected. But we're not going to care about that too much. We are simply going to castle. He's going to probably give us a check, but again, not scared. d4, attack your bishop. So what are you going to do? How do we have a 20-second lead on the clock? Which is not something we've done a very good job of in the past. Okay, so knight's back. Don't quite understand that move. I mean, it even blocks his bishop from coming out. f7 is going to come to some bad situation very soon. So next I'm going to go knight g5 with devastating threats on f7. Okay, so he goes for that move, very logical. I have to take, but now the f7 square is weak, and this pawn is weak, so we're going to target both of them with knight to g5. He's probably going to continue with queen to d7, or a blunder with knight there. So, okay, we'll take here. Queen's hanging. We're protecting. We're giving a check here in some situations. I'm expecting some queen to d7 move. But if that happens, what do we do? I kind of want to take there, but I don't think it works the way I want it to work. If bishop back, queen takes, rook here, knight to e3. It could get more messy than I wanted to. Knight to e3. I think he could tell dodge with it. But instead, what we're gonna do is that we're gonna play rook to e1 with some little nasty threats that maybe my opponent missed with that move. We have this check, but you can simply take. We have this check. The queen can go to e7. We can take here. We can do this one. I like this one. Preserving some of the attacking power. None of the knight moves, discover checks, were actually good, believe it or not. Which is surprising. There was this move, knight takes e7, check, but it didn't quite do the job the way I wanted it to. But now I believe he's finally made a big mistake. A big one. Since I do think now he loses a queen. Queen there, we simply go rook here. He has to block with something. We should win some material. And if he moves the king, we take the queen. So I'm expecting queen e7. Although a very interesting maneuver will be queen here, rook here, bishop takes check. Oh, well, he missed it. I think he should have gone for that. It looked quite dangerous, to tell you the truth. Okay, now it's just simple. Oops. Oops. Really? We gave him a free rook? We did. So we went from absolutely winning to now we have to work a little bit. Still winning, but that was a a huge miss. Wow. Maybe I'm playing at 700 rating level. Okay, let's go here. I'm expecting the rook there. What a big blunder. This game shouldn't even be this close, to tell you the truth. Now he's gonna get a little bit of counterplay, which is not ideal. Not ideal at all. But okay, I'm gonna get some pawns for my troubles. So queen takes g7. That's not a move I understand. I can still take here, and then if he blocks with the rook, which he can't, if he blocks with the rook, the other one drops. So he has to, yeah, go for some weirdness like this. But now we have time to create some problems for my opponent. This knight's coming here with check. So how should he continue this? His bishop's been attacked as well, so he needs to take care of that. Okay, I think this check here is strong enough. Luckily for us, this was still completely winning. And now we're simply, look at that, I was almost about to give him yet another another free rook. What is happening in this game? Obviously, this is the idea to come with the rook to e1, turning checking, so he has to go rook there. Or bishop there. I'm missing quite a lot of moves, actually. How can we take advantage of that bishop? We can't. So let's just kick it back for now. I'm playing king to g2 next. It's unbelievable that this game has gone this far. Quite unbelievable, to tell you the truth. Okay, check. We'll come back to e6 after rook f8. And see if he goes for rook f7 again. Rook f7 will be a big blunder because of queen to c8 checkmate. Which my opponent, of course, he saw. Okay, let's go for this. We should be able to win a piece in this way. So we have to be a bit careful. He's starting to take here as well. So let's prevent that with this move. And then we can go for this. Alright, so I think he finally made enough blunders. Now his bishop is trapped. But I gave him plenty of chances and he took them. Okay, so this should be some kind of checkmate. I hope. But okay, he's gonna run out of time. All right, so yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. There's 3 blunders and 1 mistake, and one of those blunders is probably mine. That was not a pretty game at all. It was a very badly game by both my opponent and myself. Let's just take a quick look at the game report, and then we'll call it a day for today. Let's see. Yeah, my accuracy, some of my most like my worst accuracy, one of the worst accuracies I've had. I had a blunder, of course, and 2 mistakes and 1 inaccuracy. It's not a pretty game, Okay, we got the win, and that's the important thing at the end of the day. So I want to thank everybody for watching. Continue to play, continue to improve, and as always, stay safe. Have a great day. Always respect your opponent, and see you next time. Bye bye.